experience the adrenaline rush of a lifetime in the exciting third round of the Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship, the leading regional motorsport championship series, in conjunction with the second round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Middle East, a full lineup of breathtaking track action, intense battles, winning drivers, and the time-honoured hallmarks of the world's best cars. It will take your breath away at the Reem International Circuit in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Hi, my name is Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. I raced single-seaters, I did Formula Ford, I did Formula BMW, I did testing on Formula Renault, and now I raced for 3 years for the CSV. We're now at London Hyde Park. I'm here because I study first year in college, business management, and hopefully I'm going back in a few days to the race in Abu Dhabi. It's been hard traveling back and forth to London, but the passion of racing just makes me forget all the tired of the road. I just love controlling power. Since I was young, I have a good fast learner. I'd love to get involved in anything with the machinery. Mostly, a lot of drivers can drive fast, but they can't race fast. That separates a good, perfect driver than a normal, fast driver. My family started supporting me since the beginning, and my father is my biggest supporter. He comes most of my races, like 95% of my races, he comes there. When I'm studying, I'm thinking about racing. When I'm racing, I'm thinking about studying. Hopefully I'm going to continue to get the degree, and because you never know, racing is not going to stay forever, but the degree stays with you forever.
The first two riveting rounds of the Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship came to a gripping conclusion. The first round of the Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship took place in October 2009 at the Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi and saw Bahrain's Sheikh Salman bin Rashid Al Khalifa and Saudi Arabia's Prince Khalid Al Faisal share the honours, with Fahad Al Musallam reaching the podium in both races. On the second round in December at the Bahrain International Circuit, Fahad Al Musallam won the first of the two races, while Raed Raffii won the second race.
I had a very comfortable race today, had a very good start. I saw Raed and Mohammed fighting for second position, which gave me a very comfortable lead. Thought keep the lead for a while, and towards the end, just short shift and cruise to the finish.
I did a really great start, maybe one of the best starts in my whole career. Pulled up from 4th place to 1st place before turn 1, so which was a big thing for me. And from then on, I just did the whole race as if it's a qualifying session, 10 flying laps, and the next thing I know, it was a checker flag and I won the race.
Now, the third round of the third season of the Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship 2009 to 2010 takes place in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, at the Reem International Circuit, the icon of change, which is revolutionizing the local motorsport industry in the kingdom on an international level, offering a pulsating experience filled with racetrack thrill and excitement that's one of its kind in the Arabian Peninsula. A 3.8-kilometre track consisting of several track combinations for karting, drag racing and off-road activities. The Reem International Circuit has been classified as an FIA Grade 3 licence.
Actually, we are very glad to be here at Reem International Circuit for the first time. We're actually racing in Saudi Arabia for the first time. The event, as you can see, it's Speed Weekend Saudi Arabia. It's the same event almost we had in Bahrain. It's a new experience for us coming to Saudi, coming to the big market in Saudi, coming to Riyadh, and I'd like to thank everyone here for all the preparation and the arrangements was done to host this big event.
I'm being 100% honest here. I think Reem is a fantastic circuit. It's very technical, it's very challenging. My only issue with it is it seems a little bit dangerous in certain areas, but great circuit.
It's a club circuit, but it's a fun circuit. I started to like it. It has a mixture of, quick laps, slow laps, and really technical laps, corners, and I just like it here. The track itself, it's really technical. It has a lot of turns, and you have only two straights. One is short and one is a bit long.
As the circuit is just a little bit shorter and has got turns more than straights, so I can't catch up with the 09s. That's my target.
You have to really be gentle with the car, especially with the brakes, especially turning in. The wind, if it starts blowing, the sand has just come on the track and it gets a bit trickier. It's like a wet track but with sand. It's amazing.
Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship is a showcase of the Middle East's best racing championships and drivers, the first of its kind in the kingdom.
Welcome to the third round of the 2009-2010 Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship, which is for the first time visiting this fantastic new circuit in Saudi Arabia, the Reem International Circuit. There you see the cars lined up on the grid. There are the grid positions as the cars are shortly to be released onto their 2 formation laps before the race gets underway with a rolling start. On pole position for this 5th race in the Chevrolet Middle East Chevrolet Supercars Championship is the yellow and white car of the young driver from Bahrain, Raed Raffii. He won last time out in Bahrain, and he's now on pole position for this first of the 2 races, both of them over 10 laps at the Saudi Arabian circuit. So the car's then setting off behind the pace car. They'll do, as I say, 2 laps, what we call formation laps behind the pace car, which will then peel off at the end of the 2nd lap. And the race will be underway as the cars go over the start-finish line. But that'll be, as I say, a couple of laps' time. Through into turn 1, this very spectacular new circuit, which I think is going to provide us with some very close racing indeed. So just to give you a rundown, you didn't quite catch them off the captions on the screen. On pole position, Raed Raffii in the yellow and white Chevrolet, and with him at the front of the grid is Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh in the green car, number 2. Third on the grid is the blue car, number 57, Al-Mohammed Al-Awais from the United Arab Emirates. And then 4th on the grid is the championship leader, Fahad Al-Musallam, in the red and white car, number 1. And then 5th on the grid, the red car of Ahmad Al-Hathi. That is car number 7. And then 6th on the grid, the former champion from Australia, Tariq El Gamal, in the green car, number 8. So through they go through the S's, and you can see this circuit provides a number of combinations, the layout, but of course they're sticking to the longest 3.2 kilometre circuit, the international circuit, for these races. So they're coming towards the conclusion of their first formation lap, as we see both the SC09 cars and then the less powerful, the older, the SC06 cars, which develop about 380 brake horsepower compared with the 420, 430 brake horsepower provided by the 60 V8 engines in the front-running cars. So they're coming now onto the start-finish straight at the end of their first formation lap. You can see the markings on the track there, which signify where they set off from on the beginning of the first formation lap, and now coming past the pits. Of course, it's very important for the drivers to warm up their tyres to the best possible working temperature, so that they get the maximum grit from them, although it's never possible really in the space of 2 formation laps, however quickly they go, to get the cars as warmed up, the tyres warmed up as much as they would like. So back through turn 1 behind the safety car, but they will come towards the end of this lap into the 2x2 formation, ready to go. I told you as far as Tariq El Gamal, who's lining up 6th on the grid, their times based on their qualifying times, their grid positions based on their qualifying times. 7th on the grid is the Bahraini driver in the orange car, number 10, Salahuddin. And then only in the 8th place on the grid is Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa from Bahrain. He's in the black car, number 3. Mohammed Khalifa, car number 77, lines up in the 9th place on the grid, and then 10th is the quickest of the SC06 cars. In fact, he's won every time out so far this year. That's Raed Raffii in car number 19. But we'll just say concentrate on the SC09 cars. They're very, very spectacular looking cars, and they've provided so far this year. We've had 2 races at Abu Dhabi, and then more recently 2 races in Bahrain. They'll be going back to Bahrain, but they'll also be going back to Abu Dhabi. But this is, as I say, the first time they have raced in Saudi Arabia at this great new Reem International Circuit. So now the pace car slows the pace down a little bit. It'll peel off into the pit lane, but the drivers are being told that they must form up 2 by 2 as they come into the final right-hander leading on to the pit straight. You'll see the pace car pull off, and then the race will be underway. So now the pace rather slower than it was partway around the lap, through the S-bend and through the right-hander, that long right-hander where we can, I think, expect to see some overtaking maneuvers. Now you can see how they're forming up 2 by 2. So pole position, Raed Raffii in the yellow and white car, the youngest driver in the race. He'll be 21 later in January this month, but he's still just 20 years of age, and alongside him another youngsters, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, just 22 years of age, the local hero from Saudi Arabia. So here we go then, the cars coming down towards the start-finish line. One car pulling wide near the back there, but it's as they head down towards turn 1, it's the car from pole position. It is Raed Raffii who has the lead then as the cars go over the brow, then into turn 1, the right-hander onto the brakes, through the corner he goes. The challenge being mounted on the outside there by Fahad Al-Musallam in the red and white car to try and take 3rd place away. He can't get through, so it is still Mohammed Al-Yaeesh in the blue car in 3rd place. Second, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh is keeping the pressure on Raed Raffii as they go through the right and then the left-hander going up towards turns 3 and 4. At the moment, a little bit of an advantage being extended by Raed Raffii over his nearest pursuer, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. And then the 3rd place car dropping back a little. The pack bunched up there, and 1 or 2 drivers jostling for position to try and make up ground. Out in front is the yellow and white car of Raed Raffii. Halfway around this first lap, then you get a capture there of the running order, the top 5 at this early stage in the race. So they head now out of the S's, rejoin the long straight, the drag strip straight through the right and left S's there, and quite a bit. You see, look, Tariq El Gamal, remember he started 6th on the grid in the green and silver car. Started 6th on the grid, he's up to 5th place already, and really putting the pressure on the 2 drivers ahead of him. Fahad Al-Musallam, the championship leader there, in 4th place. He is right now with Mohammed Al-Yaeesh as the cars come up to the end of lap 1, then nose to tail, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and indeed there's another car joining in that group as well, or trying to do so as they come through at the end of lap 1. So into lap 2, it is Raed Raffii still leading. Car running a bit wide, locking a wheel there in 2nd place. Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh in 3rd place is still the driver from the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed Al-Yaeesh. But he's got to concentrate not just on looking at catching the cars ahead, but also in ensuring he doesn't lose that 3rd place. So about the same sort of advantage. Lock wheel there for the leader as he goes into that long right-hander, but 3 abreast there as they for 3rd place, and out of that battle, those 3 cars going into the corner, out of it emerges Tariq El Gamal. He has come through into 3rd place. Down, still in 4th is Fahad Al-Musallam, but down to 5th has gone Mohammed Al-Yaeesh. So he's the one who really lost out in that threesome going into that right-hander there. So a shovel at the order, you can see it there. Tariq El Gamal now over to 3rd place. Fahad Al-Musallam is 4th, and 5th, having been 3rd at the end of that 1, is Mohammed Al-Yaeesh. 2 places lost in the space of just a few metres. So the jockeying for position that was going on there, of course, has cost them some ground. They held each other up. They may be looking to go still very quickly, but not quite as quickly as they would normally do if they were on their own, and therefore they have lost time to the top two. So coming up to the end of lap 2, in the lead, Raed Raffii, still trying to hang on to him there. Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, but finding it difficult. Tariq El-Gamal then. Can the Australian driver then, former champion, in third place? And we've got a chance being invited also by Salahuddin, the orange car, number 10 of the Bahraini driver, going through on the inside, I think, there, and gaining a place. Is he moving up into 5th place? Salahuddin, we may catch a glimpse of the orange car. Yes, he has. He's got ahead there of Mohamed Al-Yaeesh as well. So Salahuddin is now up into 4th place. Mohamed Al-Yaeesh has dropped down to 5th. And there's the orange car coming into the picture, running a little bit wide there. Spectacular driver, Salahuddin. And it's a good effort, this. He's up into 4th place. He's got Mohamed Al-Yaeesh coming back at him there as they go into that right-hand hairpin. And around the outside, is that the black car? It is, I believe, yes, of Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa in car number 3. He's challenging also for a place in the top 6. And we have also there number 77, that's Mohamed Khalifa in the pale yellow car. And he's got himself right up behind Sheikh Hamad. But meanwhile, back with the leaders. We're on lap 3. Lap 3 then it is, as the cars go through those S's. And in a moment we'll emerge onto the start-finish straight. And the gap first to second looking much the same as they come out onto that start-finish straight for the 3rd time. Onto lap 4 in a moment. 3rd and 4th, Tariq El-Gamal hasn't broken away from championship leader Fahad Al-Musallam. 5th is still the orange car of Salahuddin. I was suggesting he made it up into 4th place. He hasn't quite got there yet. He's in 5th place as they break for turn 1. Coming out of turn 1 already is the leader, Raed Raffii, keeping at bay Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh despite the best efforts of the Saudi driver. There we've got 3rd and 4th, Tariq El-Gamal with Fahad Al-Musallam behind him. What about the orange car? Salahuddin, where is he? He should be there to be seen in 5th place. Hasn't yet come into shot. He's therefore some way back from the fight that's going on for 3rd place. Smoke settling as it's through the leader goes, and we can see there, yes, still the orange car. He's been passed by Mohamed Al-Yaeesh. Salahuddin, he's coming back at him then. So Mohamed Al-Yaeesh is back up into 5th place. He's got Salahuddin trying to squeeze through on the inside there. He's touched right up behind the tail of the United Arab Emirates driver. So the Bahraini, Salahuddin, having a great race here. He's going for the inside line as they go through that left hand. He couldn't quite get alongside, but he is there in, at the moment, 6th place, trying to take 5th place back from the blue car of Mohamed Al-Yaeesh. Now he's yes, clipping the curbs as he tries to shortcut that corner. Leaders coming up then to the end of lap 4 onto the half-distance lap. The first 2 reasonably close. The 3rd and 4th cars much closer. As they go over the line then, still in 3rd place, Tariq El-Gamal, still shadowing him is Fahad Al-Musallam. And then we've got the next 2 through. In 5th place is Mohamed Al-Yaeesh. In 6th place is Salahuddin. There we see Tariq El-Gamal. Hasn't yet finished on the podium in the top 3 in any of the first 4 races of the season, but is he going to be able to do so? He's well placed to do so. Is he going to be able to do so in this race? So there we go again. Mohamed Al-Yaeesh coming under pressure from Salahuddin as they go up towards the hairpin. It is still, they're pairing off. There we see the green car in 2nd place of the Saudi driver Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, just as I said earlier, 22 years of age, but the driver ahead of him, not yet 21, is a very promising young talent from Bahrain, Raed Raffii. There we have the cars bunching up for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places. Back now with the leader, Raed Raffii. Things nicely under control. He won last time out at Bahrain. So he's had 1 win already this year, but for Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, that win has yet to come. Is it going to be in this race? A bit wide there was the leader as he went into that right-hander, Raed Raffii, but safely through. Coming up now to complete the half-distance lap. Going through now over the line onto lap 6 of 10. In the lead, Raed Raffii. In 2nd place, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. 3rd and 4th, it is still Tariq El-Gamal in 3rd place. In 4th place is Fahad Al-Musallam. There is Tariq El-Gamal going through turn 1. Turn 2, turn 3. part of a sequence of S-bends there. And still we have those two cars. I think if anything, yes, the gap has come down. So Raed Raffii is now being closed in on by Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh as they go through that long right-handed hairpin. And we get a glimpse of the third and fourth place cars. They're close again. Also, Fahad Al-Masalam closing right up onto the tail. We can see in the background there of Tariq Al-Gamal for third and fourth places. And as we pan back, there we see the car that was going so well, fifth it was for a time, then dropped down to sixth. That is the car, I'm afraid, of Salahuddin out of the race. He's had to pull off at turn one at the start of this sixth lap. So he was sixth. I'm afraid lap 6, however, has been the end of his chances in this one. So Raed Raffii leads from Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh's green car. Tariq Al-Gamal, green and silver, in third place. Fahad Al-Masalam in fourth place. And we are now on lap 6, coming up to the end of that lap. 4 laps to go. So far, so good for Raed Raffii. He's led from pole position. Everything that Abdulaziz has tried so far has not been sufficient to give him the lead, so he's still shadowing the leader. Third and fourth still close together. There you see, as ever, a great enthusiast, Salahuddin, applauding his opponents, although he himself has had to retire from this race. But he loves his racing, and Salahuddin having to, I'm afraid, watch the rest of this race from the sidelines. But there you can see third and fourth places, very, very close indeed. Tariq Al-Gamal still has that third place, but the championship leader, Fahad Al-Masalam, is determined not to let him have that place if he can possibly avoid it. They're nose to tail then as they come into the left-hander. Right up onto the tail there, Fahad Al-Masalam. Little daylight between the two of them as they come out of the corner, almost touching then as they head up towards the next left-hander. The start of another of the S's, the left and then the right. Just going out of the right of our screen there was the second place car of Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. We're still with the third and fourth place car, locked wheel there, puff of tyre smoke from a locked wheel on Tariq Al-Gamal's car, right and then left in this fight for third and the final podium position. Back with the leaders coming up to the end of lap 7 then. 3 laps to go, and now what was a small gap last time over the line, this time seems to me to have been extended quite significantly, with the result that Raed Raffii looking a bit more secure. There we see in the foreground once more, and we've got the yellow flag being waved to tell drivers that there's a car parked in a dangerous position off the circuit, and therefore there can be no overtaking under the yellow flag. And although Fahad Al-Masalam's coming up alongside on the outside line, he shouldn't overtake. He doesn't overtake. It was a good chance that he had there, but I suspect helped a little bit by Tariq Al-Gamal seeing the waved yellow flag and easing off slightly. That gave Fahad Al-Masalam a chance to come up alongside, but he knew he couldn't overtake. You're not allowed to overtake under the waved yellow flags because of a car being in a dangerous place. Once all the drivers are aware of that, then they don't need to have the yellow flag for the remainder of the race, but they have been told about that now. Tariq Al-Gamal a little bit out of shape as he came out of that right-hander just then. He really is feeling the pressure then. He has the experience, but can he withstand the pressure that Fahad Al-Masalam is putting on him now? We are on lap 8, 2.5 laps left. Still it is Tariq Al-Gamal who keeps Fahad Al-Masalam behind him. The championship leader is shadowing the former champion as they go into the next left and right sequence of corners. Still the fight is furious for that third place. It's still Tariq Al-Gamal who has that third place, but he's still, Fahad Al-Masalam is right on his tail, right through the first part of those S's, then left. And heading up towards the final corner, coming out of that final corner, completing lap 8, onto the last lap but one goes Raed Raffii. He's through safely. The lead he has over Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh growing by the lap now. It's a much larger one than it was on the previous lap. But now, is it going to be possible for Fahad Al-Masalam this time with no yellow flags being waved? He can overtake this time if he gets the opportunity. Comes up alongside there, side by side into the braking area for turn 1. On the inside line, Tariq Al-Gamal should be able to hang on to the third place. Yes, in fact, we've got a stationary yellow flag this time. So again, it wouldn't have been possible for Fahad Al-Masalam to overtake. We just caught a glimpse there of the way of the stationary yellow flag, and then you can see a green light on the left-hand side of the screen. That's the end of the no overtaking zone, the yellow flag zone as it's called, and so overtaking can once more take place. So frustration in a sense for Fahad Al-Masalam. He can get up alongside as they head towards turn 1, but then he gets into the yellow flag zone and overtaking isn't permitted. But he's having another go here. He's right there on the turn. Now, was the contact? I suspect there may be a little bit of a contact there between the front of Fahad Al-Masalam's car and the rear of Tariq Al-Gamal's car as they went through that corner. Now let's just see whether we can identify any damage to the front of the red and white car of Fahad Al-Masalam. We're on lap 9 then, 1 lap to go at the end of this one. There is Tariq Al-Gamal. There, not quite as close as he was earlier on this lap. Is that car damaged at the front? don't think so, but he is there, closing up once more. Fahad Al-Salam in fourth place, goes through the left-hander, comes up now to the final right-hand corner, the long looping right-hander that takes them onto the start-finish straight, and they'll go through to start this last lap at the moment. Tariq Al-Gamal in third place. Fahad Al-Salam has not yet finished off the podium this year. He has had very good finishes every race so far. He needs the championship. He's challenging again to try and take that third place away and get himself onto the podium in this one, but it looks like it's going to be very difficult for him. Tariq Al-Gamal is more than a match for everything that Fahad Al-Salam tries to find a way past. So there's confirmation of the order on this last lap. Raed Raffii, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, Tariq Al-Gamal, Fahad Al-Salam, Mohammed Al-Awais in the blue car in fifth place, in car 57. There's the leader. He's only got a stroke at home now. He's well out in front. He's really asserted himself over the last couple or three laps. It may be partly because Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh has something going slightly wrong with his car, but it's far from resolved for third place. Here they're going to the left-hander then, and sliding sideways there. Lots of opposite lock, corrective lock having to be applied there by Tariq Al-Gamal to hang on to the car in third place. He's still got it as they go into the left and right S's, with Fahad Al-Salam right behind him then as they go into the right-handed part. They've only got a couple of corners left. Fahad Al-Salam is still right on the tail of the third place car. And it's still Tariq Al-Gamal who has that place going. And he goes sliding again. And they're side by side. And I think Tariq Al-Gamal's got through. But we're back with the leaders then as they come up towards the checker flag. But watch also in the distance to see what's happening with the third and fourth place cars. But there, the flag waved at the winner. Raed Raffii takes his first win of the year. In second place, it is Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. But who is going to be third and fourth? Is it going to be possible for the championship leader to have on the place on the podium again? As we see there, Tariq Al-Gamal on his own. What has happened to Fahad Al-Salam? So third place goes to Tariq Al-Gamal, fourth place goes to Mohammed Al-Awais, and fifth place in the end goes, by the looks of things, to Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa in the black car. So question mark, what happened over the last couple of corners? Because it was where we saw them side by side, but it rather looked as though something went wrong on the last couple of corners to Fahad Al-Salam's cars. There's confirmation of the result, as I called it. Raed Raffii from Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, Tariq Al-Gamal third, Mohammed Al-Awais fourth, Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa in fifth place, and Ahmad Al-Hathi taking sixth place. And then the SC06 class won yet again, his fifth win in a row. Faisal Rafi from Husam Al-Salah, and the British driver Tony Whittaker taking third place. So that's the finishing order, but we still have this question mark over what the fate was of Fahad Al-Salam on the final couple of corners. Something went wrong somewhere in his efforts. You saw them going side by side into that left-hander. They only had two more corners to negotiate, and for Fahad Al-Salam, it wasn't to be even a place in the top six. He was fourth as he started that last lap. He briefly had his nose in front on the outside line to take third place from Tariq Al-Gamal, who got it all slightly crossed up with about three corners to go. But there you got the winner, a very, very happy Raed Raffii. That's two wins in a row for Raed Raffii. In second place, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. So the cars then lined up on the grid for the second of the two races at the new Reem International Circuit here in Saudi Arabia. The first visit of the Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship to Saudi Arabia, and they are all ready to go off on their two formation laps. We've had one race already today, and that was his second win in a row. He won a race at the previous round of the championship at Bahrain. Is the Bahraini driver Raed Raffii. He's on pole position, not because he won that earlier race, but because he had the second best time in the qualifying session. That's how the grid positions have been decided for this second race of the day. And in fact, by coincidence, the second best time was set by Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. The Saudi Arabian driver still looking for his first win, but can he do it on his local circuit? He came to Saudi Arabia having already competed in 4 rounds of the championship, 4 races in the championship, 2 rounds. Each round has 2 races in it. And he came to Saudi Arabia, his local circuit, lying quite a long way down in the championship, only in 8th place. But he's had a good result already today. Maybe he'll have another one. Now, it's worth looking at the front. Remember, at the end of the earlier race, we were puzzled by the fact that we saw no more of Fahad Al-Salam with 2 corners to go, after he had attempted to pass Tariq Al-Gamal just before the end of the last lap. Well, the car is back out in this race. He's starting from 3rd place on the grid, but you may notice when we next catch a shot of the front of that car, it's basically red and white, but it's got some black about it. Up at the front of the car, you'll see that the front air dam is a replacement air dam, because the damage was sustained to his car on that last but one corner of the earlier race. That's why, in fact, Fahad Al-Salam didn't complete the final lap on the track. He had to pull off into the pit lane with that frontal damage, which was caused as a result of running into the back of Tariq Al-Gamal's car. We'd actually caught a glimpse of that, but we didn't actually see how extensive the damage was, and that was what caused Fahad Al-Salam, who leads the championship still, although he only finished in 7th place in the pit lane in that previous race. Nevertheless, he still leads the championship. But the challenge to his championship lead is going to be taken up by both Raed Raffii and Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, if the earlier race is anything to go by. But there he is, 3rd on the grid, Fahad Al-Salam, in what is now a black, red and white car. And 4th on the grid is the blue car of the driver from the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed Al-Awais. Then 5th on the grid, a little bit better placed than he was on the previous grid, is Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, and Ahmed Al Hathi in car number 7, the red car, lines up 6th on the grid. 7th is the driver who had to retire from the early race, Salahuddin. He was going well, he was in 5th place, but he had to at one stage drop down to 6th, then had to retire at turn 1. And then we have Mohammed Al Falasi from Dubai, who lines up 8th on the grid. Only 9th is Tariq Al-Gamal. Now remember, the Australian driver Tariq Al-Gamal finished in 3rd place in that first race. Can he come through from this lowly place, 9th on the grid, to get onto the podium again for the 2nd time this year for the former champion? So the car's now making their way around on this 2nd formation lap. Again, it's important for them that they generate as much heat as possible into their tyres before the race gets underway to ensure maximum grip. And there we get a close-up shot of that black air dam on the front of Fahad Al-Salam's car, the Bahraini driver, the championship leader, but he's going to be in the thick of things again in this race. That earlier race was the first time this year that Fahad has not finished on the podium in one of the top 3 places, and he's obviously keen to make sure he gets back onto the podium position in this race. So they're now being slowed down by the pace car to make sure they get into their side-by-side formation as they come up to the start-finish straight and the start line. Again, it's a 10-lap race, and so the pace car will peel off into the pit lane and we'll be racing again. Remember, it's yellow and white for Raed Raffii, and it's all green for Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh as they face the gantry. The red light goes out and the race will be underway any moment now. They're well bunched up there, side by side, 2 by 2 they go over the starting grid up to the start line. The light goes out and the flag is waved, and away we go then down towards turn 1. Lap 1 of 10 it is, on the inside line, kicking a bit of dust there is Raed Raffii. He's hanging on to the lead, round the outside there. That's Tariq Al-Gamal. Watch that car. Remember, I said he's starting 9th on the grid. He's already made up about 3 places. He's up into 5th place, and he's gaining more ground as he goes. But side by side it is for the lead then on the outside line. Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. He's got a left-hander facing him. He could give him the lead. Yes, it has. So Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, the local driver, takes the lead as he has now heading up towards that right-hander hairpin. Raed Raffii then down to 2nd. Fahad Al-Salam is in 3rd place, and Tariq Al-Gamal going for another place. He's on the inside line, and Mohammed Al-Awais as he goes through the right-hander, and he's got the 4th tremendous opening spurt from that poor grip position by Tariq Al-Gamal. He's now 4th and right up there on the tail of Fahad Al-Salam. How much further can he get? Meanwhile, we've got a re-challenge for the lead by Raed Raffii. They're side by side again on the inside line. The green car again. He's got a left-hander ahead of him, so he should be able to hang on to the lead. So it is still Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh who has the lead, but now it's a challenge for 2nd place being made there round the outside by Fahad Al-Salam, and there's contact there. The car goes sideways. He puts on the opposite lock. He straightens the car out again, and they're going wide. There is the red car of Ahmed Al Hathi. So this really is an action-packed opening lap. Out in front, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, and then it's the green and silver car. What a start this has been from 9th on the grid. By the end of the first lap, Tariq Al-Gamal has come through to take 2nd place. Tremendous stuff there by the Australian driver. Side by side for 3rd over the line. It's just Mohammed Al-Awais, but there's 3 of them abreast as they go over the line, going down towards turn 1 at the start of lap 2. brilliant start to the race here. Round the outside, it is the blue car of Mohammed Al-Yaeesh. On the inside, it is Fahad Al-Masalam, who's fought his way back up into third place then. And the winner of the earlier race really is getting the raw deal here, because having been a leader on the first part of the first lap, he's now down, is it to fifth? Yes, he's down to fifth place, is Raed Raffii. So the youngster not quite able to hang on to his place on this first lap. Maybe he's got a problem or two with the car now, but certainly it looked okay as he was leading early on, but now he's really been elbowed to one side. And there we have the championship leader, Fahad Al-Masalam, with that air dam, the black air dam, replaced with air dam on the front of the car. He's in third place at the moment. Then the whole pack pouring through. There's the orange car back into the race after having to retire from the early one. Salahuddin in the orange car, number 10. The two leaders breaking away now. Tariq Al-Gamal not content with having come up from 9th to 2nd in the space of one lap. He now wants the lead, so he's putting the pressure onto Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. A bit of cement dust being kicked up there as the cars went clipping the curb, with cement dust put down on perhaps a little bit of dropped oil. So third and fourth then running close together, and again we saw a rather wayward line being taken by Raed Raffii. I think he's lost another 2 or 3 places, so he's well down now out of the top 6. So Raed Raffii really having a poor opening part of this race. That's 2 laps completed. And that yellow and white car, which looked so much in control of the early race, particularly towards the end of it, is now well down the order. First and second, close together. Starting lap 3 then. And we have the 2 green cars. The car of the local driver, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, just 22 years of age, leading the Australian, 36-year-old Australian, Tariq Al-Gamal, the former champion, as they make their way through the first S's, the SC06 cars, the tail end of the field, of course, not as quick. There in the distance, you can see, and now we can see as a close-up shot of the 2 green cars, and not that far behind them, in third place, is still Fahad Al-Masalam. Salahuddin making up places there as he works his way through from his modest grid position. He was 7th on the grid for this race, but of course he retired from the early one. Now a big effort being put in, you can see there, by Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. He was really forcing it and getting it over the curb as he came out of that left-hand corner, and that's tries to open the gap a little, I think, over yes, Tariq Al-Gamal dropping back a little bit, but Mohammed Al-Yaeesh from the United Arab Emirates in the blue car, right up there with Fahad Al-Masalam, as the two of them go through the S's, the right and then the left. And in fact, the biggest gap now is really between first and second. So although they started this lap, this third lap, pretty close together, the first 2 cars now, the space is becoming larger between the top 2, coming towards the end of lap 3. So still in the lead then, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. Second, Tariq Al-Gamal. Third is Fahad Al-Masalam. Fourth right there with him is Mohammed Al-Yaeesh. As they go into turn 1 then, is this gap going to continue to extend in the way that it was over the last part of the previous lap? Mohammed Al-Yaeesh then in 4th place, and in 5th place at the moment we have the car of Mohammed Al-Faisal from Dubai in the red car. And so the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th cars pretty much in touch with each other, but they're out in front. And nobody now, not even Tariq Al-Gamal, after that storming first lap, seems able to do anything about the leader. But certainly Mohammed Al-Yaeesh is very, very keen to do something about the championship leader behind the car of, he is at the moment, of Fahad Al-Masalam, and he is right there with him. So remember, in the earlier race, it was Fahad Al-Masalam who was applying all the pressure to Tariq Al-Gamal. Now it's his turn to feel the pressure from behind. There we have car number 11, which is, that was the car that won the earlier race, and he's now down. This is Raed Raffii, now down in 8th place by the looks of things. Meanwhile, the battle continues for 3rd place as Tariq Al-Gamal gets going again and begins to pull away. There we've got problems from one of the tail-enders. That's the Al-Silmi car, one of the SC06 cars, the pale green car. Looked like a puncture or some sort of drive shaft problem, but the leaders coming up now to the end of lap 4. And it is once more, I think, becoming leaders. The gap is closing. Not as close yet as the gap between 3rd and 4th, which has remained close all the way through the race so far. On to lap 5, the half-distance lap then. Mohammed Al-Yaeesh wondering about whether he should make a last-minute lunge down the inside to try and take 3rd place away from Fahad Al-Masalam as they go into turn 1 at the start of this 5th lap, but deciding against that. So he's still 4th. Still 4th, but down in 8th place is Raed Raffii, winner of the first race of the day, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a hat-trick for the youngster from Bahrain. Out in front is the youngster from Saudi Arabia then, and a challenge. Mohammed Al-Yaeesh having another go to pass Fahad Al-Masalam. whose car, I think, with that new air dam on the front, is otherwise unharmed from its problem in that towards the end of that previous race. But he's having to do all he possibly knows, uses every bit of experience that he has to hang on to this third place at the moment, making sure his car occupies that part of the track which his rival might require to overtake him. So he's still there in third place as they come towards the second part of lap 5. It is still just in third place then Fahad Al-Salam, in fourth place Mohammed Al-Yaeesh. And the gap is very definitely coming down between first and second. There's about 3 lengths between first and second, barely a length between the third and fourth place cars. Here we come then towards the end of lap 5. Onto lap 6 in a moment they'll go. Third and fourth place, nose to tail as they go to the right-hand side of the circuit. You can see how Fahad Al-Salam is defending the inside line, because that's the preferred overtaking opportunity for his rival, Mohammed Al-Yaeesh, but he's forced to take the wide line around the outside. Still going well, Mohammed Al-Faisal in 5th place in car 77, and that is the car we'll catch a glimpse of in a moment. Meanwhile, 3rd and 4th still very, very close. 1st and 2nd not as close, but Tariq Al-Gamal's big effort, big surge over the last part of the previous lap hasn't brought him quite close enough yet to challenge Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh for the lead. Mohammed Al-Yaeesh for 3rd place though, pushing very, very hard indeed. And closing up once more under braking. He's almost touching the 2 cars. In fact, there may be a little bit of gentle contact there as they went into that left-hand corner. So it is number 57, the driver from United Arab Emirates, Mohammed Al-Yaeesh, in 4th place he is still. And ahead of him is the championship leader, Fahad Al-Salam. They're coming in a moment to the final right-hander that brings them onto the start-finish straight. And we'll notice also the black car you just caught a glimpse of, yes, coming into the screen from the right is the black car of Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, who started quite a way down on the grid. He's going for a move now. I think he's going to be able to gain the places as the cars go on to the start-finish straight. Leader second there, 3rd and 4th. The gap's opened up for the first time between those two. And I think everybody's saying now that the black car of Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa has made it through into 5th place, but not without a fight, and there'll still be some battling for him to do before the checker flag is shown. We're on lap 7 then, 4 laps to go. And side by side it is there, yes, as being rather hung out to dry there, Mohammed Al-Faisal Falasi, as they went through that right-hander, and I think that is certainly Sheikh Hamad, who's come through into 5th place now in the black car. Is it black that appears left? Yes, it is. To the screen from the left, and Salah Salahuddin there in 7th place, going nicely, but not quite as well placed. He was placed better than that in the early race when he had to retire. Still, the scrap continues for 3rd place, and we can also see that Mohammed Al-Falasi, has far from given up his attempts to take back 5th place from Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. Mohammed Al-Yaeesh is the one who's putting in all the hard work at the moment up at the front. He wants that place on the podium if he can possibly make it. He's right on the tail once more. Fahad Al-Salam as they go through the S's there. And also close together there. And do we have a place gained? Another, yes, up into 7th place has come the winner of the early race. So Raed Raffii, after a very, very poor start of the race, when having been on pole position, he was elbowed down to 8th place after 2 or 3 laps. He's now fought his way back. Just saw a glimpse of him there, passing Salah Salahuddin to take back at least one more place. 7th place is not, of course, where he would hope to be. 3rd and 4th, still very contentious between these two. Fahad Al-Salam from Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates driver behind him of Mohammed Al-Yaeesh. Out in front is a Saudi Arabian driver, Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, from the Australian Tariq Al-Gamal, who was closing up a couple of laps ago but is no longer doing so. But 3rd and 4th, it's still the same order. Still, it is Fahad Al-Salam, still able to... he's run wide, I think, has he? Yes, he's lost a place. He ran wide at that right-hander there, and that has opened the door wide to enable Mohammed Al-Yaeesh to come through. Thank you very much. He's gone through into 3rd place, and a good 3rd place, because I suspect not only did he go wide, but I suspect also there may be a slight problem with Fahad Al-Salam's car. So he went wide, and whether it was a braking problem, may have been a driver error, but we'll see whether it was a driver error in a moment, whether he continues to drop back or can regain the lost ground. But they're certainly in 3rd place now is Mohammed Al-Yaeesh. Can he do anything about catching the 2 green cars ahead of him? We're certainly going for it. And in 4th place it is still Fahad Al-Salam. 5th is Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. and in sixth place it is still Mohammed Al-Falesi. So this is the end now of lap 8. Onto the last lap but one they go, and lap 9 it is then of 10. Has Tariq El-Gamal got something still up his sleeve? Now, it seems to me the leader braked a little bit late and deep into that first corner into turn 1 there, which caused him to go a bit wide. Tariq El-Gamal, a slightly smoother style then than the youngster out in front, who has not yet had a win in the series. Is this going to be his first win? He's a lap and 3/4 to go. We're on lap 9 of 10. Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, it is then leading. He was second earlier on in the day, and now he is in the lead. He's led, having fought very hard to take that lead on the first lap. He's led from thereafter. He is cautious through that left-hander, going up to another left-hander. And do we see, yes, an attempt being made to take 6th place there by the first race winner, Raed Raffii. As his rival runs wide, he gains that place. So up into 6th place has come Raed Raffii. So there we have number 77, Mohammed Al-Falesi. And then back with the leading cars. There's the other yellow car, the yellow and white car of the driver who won the earlier race, Raed Raffii. Now under pressure from number 7, Ahmed Al-Hafi. Those two running in 6th and 7th places. In 8th place is the orange car, number 10 of Salahuddin. And through onto their last lap now go the leading cars. Can Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa gain another place? He's in 5th at the moment in the black car, and he's closing in on the possibly slightly troubled now car of Fahad Al-Musallam, who's run wide a few laps ago, and dropped out of 3rd place down to 4th. But is it going to be worse than that for the championship leader? But this, if it's going to be a win for Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, is going to be a great result, and it'll also bring him into serious contention in the Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship as well. So he's only got half a lap left. He's got Tariq El-Gamal, the former champion, he knows how to win championships, behind him, and could it be the turning point in the season? We're not yet quite halfway through the season, the championship season, but for Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh, this looks like being a magnificent first win. Only a couple more corners to negotiate, and in 3rd place we have Mohammed Al-Awais still going strongly. Now Abdulaziz ran a little bit wide there through that right-hander. He will be feeling the tension, the pressure is there in the shape of Tariq El-Gamal behind him. He's only got one more corner to negotiate. He comes down onto the start-finish straight. It's going to be a magnificent first win on his home circuit for Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. He takes the checkered flag. In 2nd place is Tariq El-Gamal. In 3rd place is Mohammed Al-Awais. And then just hanging on to 4th place, but only by the skin of his teeth, Fahad Al-Musallam, just staying ahead of Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. In 6th place, Ahmed Al-Hafi, 7th, Salahuddin, and Raed Raffii in the end in 8th place. There's the SC06 result. Again, that's 6 in a row for Faisal Rafi this year. Husam Al-Salah 2nd, Alqassim Hammididdin in 3rd place. So I'm sure when he gets to the end of this slowing down lap, comes into the pit lane, takes off his helmet, and before he gets to the podium, here he comes into the pit lane now, we'll see a very, very happy Abdulaziz Al-Yaeesh. He's based these days in London. He's studying in London, but comes and races in his homeland and in the Middle East generally, in the Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship whenever he has the time off from his studies. And the car coming to a halt, and just watch it now. He was 2nd in the earlier race, but now he's a winner, and lots of happiness there. You can see that. Where better to do it than your home circuit? He came to the 3rd round of the championship having had mixed fortunes so far this year, and was 8th in the championship. That he's got the energy now to leap onto the top of the car and celebrate. Really, really happy with that result. First of all, we have the podium for the SC06 cars, and the drivers making their way up there in reverse order again. In 2nd place, we have Hamad Al-Salah, and the winner for, as I say, the 6th time this year, is young Raed Raffii to take his place on the top of the podium. He knows where to go, having been there, as I say, already 5 previous times this year.